Mission Critical, week 4. So glad you're here. I'm wearing a hat because, I don't know, it's freezing. At least it was earlier this week when I recorded it. It's probably sunny and super warm when you're watching this now. Hopefully my girl, Meadow, will just sit there while I'm recording this because usually she jumps and wants me to throw her some balls. So Acts chapter 4, I'm so glad you're a part of this study. What a powerful passage. I kicked the series off when we talked about the very first week, the mission that we're given to go from our neighborhoods to the surrounding cities, to the counties, to the states, all the way to the ends of the earth. And the early church was given that charge, and we're given that charge as well. Frank did a fantastic job preaching on the first sermon that Peter had and how God worked miraculously. Lisa last week did a great job on Acts chapter 2 and what the early church was committed to as a community. This week we're looking at Acts chapter 4, and on Sunday I talked about this person named Joseph and a generous act that he participated in the early church, but it was something bigger than that. Fall's one of my favorite seasons. The leaves are turning, the air is cool, football season, but it's a change from the summer to fall. And there was a change, there was a shift from the early church where you have the old covenant that existed up until the time of the death of Jesus, and then the new covenant, the new way that God related to his people after the resurrection of Jesus. And something happened to this person named Joseph. This person obviously knew the apostles, knew Jesus, possibly met him. And we know that because he was given a nickname by the apostles. He was around them long enough. Many of you have nicknames, right? And it's only, you've had those nicknames for a long, long time, and people only call you those nicknames going back years and years and years. And this guy named Joseph was given a nickname. So scholars assume it's probable that Joseph interacted with Jesus during his ministry and quite possibly became a disciple of Jesus during his ministry, definitely by the time of the resurrection. This guy named Joseph more than likely was there as the temple police. That's what Levites do. The people that arrested Jesus, the people that took Jesus before the chief priest, that took him before Pilate. Quite possibly the person named Joseph was there for the whole thing. But something happened to him. He was so transformed that he performed one amazing act of generosity. And as you dig into this passage this week, again, I want you to ask the question, if you were in Joseph's shoes, what would you do? What does it look like for Jesus to move from being in person in flesh and blood to being amongst us in spirit, and for us to follow him together in this community? What does it look like? What do we do? And what do we learn from Joseph on how to make that happen? I love you guys. I appreciate you digging into God's word. This is not time wasted. Think about all of the time and energy that we put into watching television, on our phones, and news, all of that, compared to how much time we're in God's word. And God tells us that his word will not come back to him void, that the purpose that he sends it out into the world, it will accomplish something powerful. And so I'm praying that as you put in the work to learn God's word and dig into that, the purpose of God for which he has called you in this generation, he will make that happen. So Meadow wants to say hello. I say hello. We love you, appreciate you, and I'll see you later.